I am so excited to welcome Hakan today, who I met a couple of months ago. We had a really interesting conversation about native, why native matters in Salesforce. And I know so many of us have experience with both native on platform, off platform. And I think it's always good to reconvene on that discussion. We've got a small group today, so feel free to come off of mute, ask a question, raise your hand, send an emoji, type in the chat, whatever it is that you like to do. During this meeting, we will also share with you some information. There are a couple Life Sciences Dream In events that we will tell you about that are happening around DPharm and Biotech X next week, and SCRS for anybody that's doing work around clinical research sites. That is in Orlando at the end of the month. So I'm very excited to see all of you that will be attending those events. So Hakan, with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Shannon. And hi, everyone. So I'm joining the call from California. I'm in Irvine right now, but normally I'm based in San Jose in the Bay Area. Yesterday, there was a conference here, the local one, SoCal Dreaming. So I was there yesterday. And so I'll be looking up probably to my screen. I don't have my usual setup. If you have any questions, anything during the presentation, feel free to let me know. And what I want to start with, maybe while we were having our conversation with Shannon, we talked about my journey as well into the Salesforce ecosystem. I've done different things, and I know we are all in the Salesforce ecosystem doing different things. So if it's helpful to anyone, actually, I want to share my journey with you as well. I want to start with that actually. As I mentioned, I live in San Jose, but I'm originally from Istanbul. I came here about 15 years ago to get a PhD first. My background is in math and physics normally. And after that, I decided to actually work in the public school system, become a teacher. So I worked again at public schools in California, in Sacramento. I started in there in a middle school. So I taught science classes mainly at the beginning, physical science, life science, earth science, and after that math classes, and then taught in physics and some computer programming in high schools. And I worked also as a college counselor a little bit, actually, helping kids with their 4-year planning, course selections and applications, all of those stuff. And while doing that, I moved to actually Bay Area at that time. And then I wanted to make a pivot. I had a lot of friends working at different places, especially being in Silicon Valley at that time. I had many friends working at different startups and other companies. I wanted to make a pivot myself into the business world. I got a position first at a startup and I started doing sales. So I did B2C, B2B sales. I started using HubSpot first on the B2C side, but then heavily using Salesforce on the B2B side, mostly for me. And and while using Salesforce, I decided to actually, after a while, sales was good. I learned a lot about business side of things, how things work, marketing, with product, sales, operations, and other things. But I like building stuff. So I decided to make another pivot this time into the Salesforce ecosystem. I got my first certifications and then I started doing consulting, actually, first with nonprofits. I worked as a consultant for a while. And then after that, I get a full-time role as a Salesforce business analyst and moved more into the product side of things. And I have been working as a Salesforce product lead for a while. Then, while doing that, as I mentioned, I love building stuff actually. So I had an idea. I was using, as an end user myself, actually, I had been using different form and survey builder tools. And I was not happy. I was not satisfied, I can say, with many different things. First of all, the first thing was, and it's related to our topic today directly, is the tools were not native. You need to go to a different platform. You need to have logins. You need to do authentications. You need to do field mappings, build connectors. There is a lot of things going on that side. And while doing field mappings and other stuff, it's all a manual process. Yeah, after that, you build that connection, but still there is a lot of manual things happening and it's error prone. And it was taking too much time. So I didn't like that. Or there was some applications, they were calling themselves native, 100% native. But when you get inside the application within Salesforce, it's a totally different world. a totally different user experience. The UI, UX, how it feels, how it looks. It's not Salesforce and it was not user friendly. You need to go to different tabs, pages keep refreshing when you make changes or whatever. It was taking a lot of time. Or the setup process itself. It was something else actually. I had many issues. I'm sure you have done integrations and it takes hours, sometimes days, or you cannot reach out to support, they cannot help you. Things happen. So those are the major reasons I can say I wanted to start BreezyBit. And I started working on it. I had this idea. And then I talked to one of my friends from college years, 20 plus years ago. He's my co-founder right now. And then he's a software engineer. His background isn't actually in computer science. And then he has been doing Salesforce development for a very long time here in the East Coast. So I talked to him and then we decided making this something really serious and then fully actually go for it. So we have built our application, we had our MVP, it was working, we were getting feedback from people, different Salesforce users. And then of course, one big thing for us, again, it's directly related to our topic today is too, was we wanted to be on the App Exchange. And to be on App Exchange as a Salesforce application, you need to go through a very strict security review process. And then we went through that process as a native app, and then we passed it. So we have been on App Exchange for, I believe, 1.5 years almost right now.
Hakan,
So
I'd love to see if anyone else has ever gone through the App Exchange review process. Anyone else on this call?
Yeah. We've been an App Exchange partner since January. Took better part of about a year or so, just between contract conversations to the actual development. Prior to being on the App Exchange, we had a managed service offering to enable our data to be available, exposed within Salesforce CRMs, whether it's Salesforce Pure or Viva and others. And then with the changes in life sciences, we thought that would be a good time to have an official app in partnership with Salesforce. And so, yeah, we've been really pleased with the effort. But yeah, I'm the business guy. My technical folks made it happen with the actual app earlier this year.
But it took you about a year, the process.
All told, a year from, say, contract conversations to the actual becoming an official partner. I would say probably about maybe the part of 4 or 5 months between the app development efforts to start to going live in January.
Yeah, that's a good data point. So for anyone else who's considering bringing an app to the App Exchange, our experience was the same, and we put something that was just testing the waters, like a super lo-fi app just to see how it works. So if anyone here is thinking about putting an app on the App Exchange, Brian, Hakan, Andrew, any of us would be happy to chat through what our learnings were from that, because I think there certainly are companies that can help you do that, but it does take, I think, a lot longer than we had bargained for working through that security review.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
you definitely need to be ready actually for the process. And I think planning and making sure as much as possible, all the details, what is required, making that planning as detailed as possible, I think that's really important because once you submit it for the review, they start reviewing your package, if it's a managed package, for example, and if they find something, just one little thing, they stop doing the review. They don't continue. And then they send it back to you, say, okay, we found this thing. But there might be 10 other things that you don't know at that point, and you need to just check that out, fix it as much as you can, and then send it back. So that's what we tried to do as well. We submitted first, they found something. We spent a lot of time actually and wanted to make sure that everything was right. But of course, there's a lot of things, right? With sharing, with permissions, with other things. So there's a lot going on. But in our second submission, we were able to pass the review and had been on App Exchange for a while. But thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Brian, for sharing your experience too. But again, on our side for BreezyBit, I think those are the main differentiators for us. Again, for the app being 100% native, really, again, I will show it to you as well, a couple of examples and how to build a form as well. For being 100% native, the look and feel, we only use, for example, SLDS components to build the application. So when you get inside the application, again, it's all Salesforce. You don't see anything different. You're not going into a different world. The learning curve is it's in a very short amount of time. It's very intuitive as well. You can start using it, build your forms. The whole setup process, it takes, I normally do it in demos, but I know our main topic is not just the demo today, so I'm not going to do that. But it takes just about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. You can go to App Exchange, start the setup installation process. For you to start building your first form, it takes about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. It's so quick, so easy. And after that, again, being user friendly and very fast, very quick. We call it kite. It's of course Salesforce lightning fast form or survey building for you. But of course, other than that, the main thing, especially for you in regulated environments, it is really not just about the tool being user friendly or the tool being a big name or the tool being other things. And the data that you're working with, it's not just data, it's not just names, it's not just numbers. So you need to be really careful if there are any data transfers happening from anywhere to another place. But again, with a native solution like us, the main thing is there is a submission, for example, coming from one of your clients. It is directly saved into your Salesforce org. It doesn't go anywhere else. It's not stored anywhere else. So you don't really need to worry about that. And you will be seeing the logs as well. It's not just about the data. Be able to track the data. You'll be able to see all the submissions that is important for you. But at the same time, we give you detailed logs. If there is any issues with any submissions, for example, coming from your clients, you'll be able to see those right away as well. And then I'm going to talk about some real world use cases. I will show you actually a couple of example forms for clinical trial intake forms. I'm sure it's being used a lot, or kind of adverse event reports or serious event reports, or there are different types of forms that you can use in your Salesforce orgs as well. I'm going to talk about those things too. And also one other important thing I wanted to mention is, since we are a native tool, native tools inherit Salesforce's compliance certifications mainly. That is a big point, of course. And we sign a business associate addendum with Salesforce, in addition to being a native partner with them, an ISV partner. That helps us a lot, actually. And then you're not going to be moving any regulated data into third-party systems.
That's
And
such a critical point. I want to pause
yeah,
there. Everybody can think that through because I know with Life Sciences Cloud coming out, Health Cloud already exists. One of the things that I think is really important for everybody in the life sciences industry, but particularly in clinical research, thinking about the inherent native security structure that exists in the Salesforce platform and how you can build upon that using what's already there is really important. That's so imperative. And when you're thinking about things like AEs and SAEs and the type of reporting that has to come out of that, Salesforce, I think, has ways that can be explored that have not yet been seen because of the relationship that Salesforce has had with Viva and the way that's coming to an end. And as we shift into Dreamforce season, knowing that Dreamforce happens right before that divorce is contractually over, I think we will start to see a lot more conversation around that coming after October 31st, 2025, as we start to explore what's capable. But I'm so glad that you brought that up, Hakan, because I think understanding as we're building on Salesforce and asking it to do more and more things, anything that's built natively is going to carry that same security protocol, which is a huge plus for anything that's built natively in the platform.
yeah, exactly. And then a couple of things. I know you don't have much time, but all form submissions, for example, as I mentioned, live inside Salesforce. It's not stored anywhere else. And it's also secured by your org's profiles, roles, and sharing rule. That is something really important too. And other than that, I am sure, I don't know what is the situation for you, but in many companies, when I talk to them, they still use manual. There's a lot of manual work happening. There's data in sheets, in Google Sheets, in Excel sheets, or still a lot of paper forms actually people are using, and then someone manually enter all of those into their systems. It's all manual work. It takes time, not really effective, efficient, but at the same time, many errors could happen during that process too. But with native forms specifically, really, there is a submission happening coming from one of your clients, one of the users. It could be actually your internal users as well. You might be using forms for some other things, for other reasons, for cases, for example, on the service side. all of those are going to be directly actually coming into your org. So it's going to be a big plus too. And then, so yeah, I think these are the major things I wanted to mention. But also, let me show you a couple of things. Is that okay, Shannon, if I do that at this point? I know, again, we don't have much time, but let me show you how things work for user experience and also maybe a couple of example forms and some use cases. Give me 1 second. I will share my screen right now. Okay, right here. You can see it, right? Perfect. So we are in a Salesforce org right now. This is our one of the demo orgs actually that I'm using. But we are in BreezyBit right now. As you see, the look and feel, as I mentioned, we are only using SLDS components. So BreezyBit is when you install the application from App Exchange, it's going to be one of the applications like your Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, other applications that you're using. It's going to be in your org. You can find it in the app launcher and search for it. And when you click on it, you will come to the screen. Here I have some forms that I created already, for example, and then you will see a nice list view of forms with their URLs, with their activation dates. If you have any registration application forms, if anything is time sensitive, you can add expiration dates to your form as well. So when it's the expiration date, it doesn't accept people to do any more submissions. And it gives you, again, a unique URL right away, and it gives you also a QR code. And here you can create different list views. Again, since everything is happening in Salesforce, we have different types of forms. I have application forms, I have marketing forms, registration forms, intake forms, some other forms. You can create list views and add your forms under those list views. And also you can create form templates because once you create a form template at any form, you can very easily, very quickly clone the forms within your org in just seconds. Or if you're working on a form, for example, on a sandbox, and if you want to move that form into your production, you really don't need to use change sets, excuse me, or you don't need to do any deployments. You can easily, it really doesn't matter to for multiple forms. If you're working, let's say on 10 different forms on your sandbox and you feel like, okay, they're ready for production, you can just select them all and then very easily export them into the production. So I'm going to show it to you really quickly too. But for you to, you're in your org, you already have some forms, but you want to create a new form. It's like creating a new record, right? We are going to create a new form record here. And then I will call this, let's say, test form. And then here you can select the objects that you want to use for this form. All of the forms, all of the objects that you have in your org are going to be available. For example, if you want to create an account record, when there is a submission with this form, you can select the account object. Or if you want to create an account record and a related contact record, for example, you can select both objects. So you can say account, and then you can also add contact. And when there is a submission using the relationship, it will create an account record and a related contact record. So you can do that all. But I'm not gonna show that to you right now, but I will do, I have a custom object. You can use any custom objects as well to create your form. So I have a regulatory form custom object that I created for the demo. So you just need to select it and save it. And it gives you, again, the unique URL and the QR code. So our form record is here ready. I just need to go to the form builder. And here on the left side, as you see, we have the regulatory form, right? This is the object I selected. And I have my fields in this form already in the backend. And I can use any of those fields that I have to create a form. For example, I want to use the first name field, and then why doesn't it? I hope someone is not doing anything here.
This is the pleasure of live demos. Oh.
It's, oh my goodness, I'm feeling so bad right now.
There's
Wow.
nothing better than trying to be live and watching things not go the way you, but we've all been there. Andrew, I know you.
It is somehow, okay, yeah, it is. I think it's somehow freezing actually on me right now. There's something about the browser here. Sorry for that. But again, what we do here is you just select, again, it's just taking some time. There's something about the browser. Yeah, sorry for that, but still. This is the idea is you just drag and drop them on the form, and then it's just there as you see. Normally, again, it doesn't take a second at all. It's just instantaneous, but somehow it's doing this right now. But other than that, when you add the fields on your form, you can just change the layout of the form really quickly. If you want to change the main design, you can do it really quickly. If you want to add a logo on your form, you can just add the logo here and the position of the logo as well. If you want to add change activation expiration dates, you can do it really quickly. If you want to translate actually your form into different languages, you can do it too really quickly. It takes just about 2 minutes to do that. And for the fields, when you go to the fields, when you click on any of the fields on the right side, you will see the field properties. It's going to open up, and then you can customize the labels, for example, in any way that you want, because normally there is, I believe, a 40 character limit with the labels in Salesforce for fields. But you don't need to worry about that. If you have a really long question, I will show some examples to you. You can add them, you can customize the label, you can add default values if you want to your fields on the form, placeholder or help text, you can add any of those things, or you can change by default. Normally this is full size, you can make it half. So you can make design changes on the field too. Or if the fields are not required in the backend, but you want to make it required for the specific form, you can just say is required, and this is going to be a required field. Or if you want to actually set something really complex, you want to make in some of the fields required by the pick list values of other fields, for example, you can use the is required filter here and set anything, any condition that you want with a filter logic. Or if you want to make some of the fields visible based on other fields values. So for example, this one, if I want to make this visible I want to make this visible based on first names, when the first name equals, let's say Hakan, I just save this. So I save the visibility filter. This is going to be visible on the form when the name is Hakan, when it's entered as Hakan. And I don't need to. The best part here is you don't need to really do, again, any field mappings. You don't need to publish anything. You don't need to worry about connectors. It is all native in your Salesforce org. Everything is ready. I just save the form. And if I go to my URL right now, my form is ready to share with my customers. And here, if I enter my name, as you see, it's conditionally visible. And again, you can make this as complex as you want with many different conditions in many different cases. It really doesn't matter. And then also for form sharing, for distribution, we give you a form URL. We give you also the embed code. If you're using an experience site, for example, you can embed it on your experience sites. Or if you want to embed forms on external sites, if you're using something else. So you can do it too. We give you the details for those. And you can use hidden fields. You can use parameter fields. If you want, especially there is the dynamic prefill feature as well with the forms. I will show you an example. You can make your forms password protected too, especially if there is sensitive information without your customers needing Salesforce licenses or having logins into your org. You can make the forms dynamically password protected. And then what else here? Oh, on the left side, before showing you some quick use cases and some examples, we also have the form elements here. It's again really easy. If you want to add some visuals, you can use HTML content. You can add images on your forms, maybe some example here, a branded example with the colors of the branding of the company, and you can add images. If you want, you can embed videos on your forms as well. You can create forms like a document actually, and then you can make it multi-page with different sections, different, again, visuals and colors, many different types of fields. You can add file uploads. For example, yeah, if you want to add file uploads, you can just add the field on it, and then it's going to be ready actually. If you want to add a signature field, for example, you can add a signature field on the form, and then you can start collecting. I just need to, again, save this. No need to publish anything, do anything else. Just refresh my form, and then I can start collecting signatures from my customers. It could be on a tablet, especially. I was talking to a client, for example, they have old customers, mainly actually elderly people, and then they were still using manual forms, but they want people to just use a tablet to sign the form and then submit it, and then they want it to be saved as a PDF file. So that is what you can do as well. Actually, but if you have a form, you just need to go to action properties. And if you say enable PDF generation, what it will do is when there is a submission, it will create the record for you. And also it will create a PDF file in about 45 seconds and it will attach it to the record for you as well. And if there is a signature on the file, it will also, you will have the signature on the file PDF. And also it will save the signature with the date and timestamp as a related file as well to that record. So you will have all the details. If you want to make your form multi-page, you can just add a pager element here and save it. Again, making changes, that is what I see too. You create a form, yes, it has many fields, but when you want to make a change, it is a pain in most of the time. But here, you just need to, again, make the change, save it, and your form is right now multi-page. Of course, I need to add the labels. I didn't do it. But in the action properties, you just need to say, I want to see a page here or a leaflet or whatever. But I believe these are generally the things I want to show you. Again, there are many other details, but I cannot talk about all the features. But you can export forms. If you want to clone a form, you want to make this form a template, right? You can just hit the clone button and it will create a clone of the exact same form for you. So you can, if you have templates, you will be able to clone them really easily, just again in a second. It is like that. And then let me show you a couple of examples. So here, this is a test form, right? Let me start maybe a serious adverse event report, for example. There's nothing really special about the form itself. It's a very simple form, as you see, with text fields. We have some probably number fields as well. You can collect the dates here too. You can add long text, or if you have pick list values, or this is a multi-pick list, you can add a multi-pick list if you want on the forms. Or if it's the pick list field, you can add pick list fields too. And then you can add a signature and date. And when there is a submission, it will create a new SAE record for me in my org right away. And again, if you want to turn this into a PDF file, you can just select enable PDF generation. It will do that for you with the signature. And or another example, again, some branding and colors and logos. This is an emerging infections program case report form. So here, for example, you can group the elements on the form as well, make it a bit visually more appealing too. And if you want, you can apply visibility filters for the whole group of elements on the form too. And if you have any validation rules, for example, working in your org, they're going to be applied to the fields on the form as well. And it will give errors to the users if there's anything that you want to see when there is a submission. But again, you can create a form like this too. Or another example, consent to be the research subject form. This is more like a document, I believe. You can make this if you want. You can add images, you can add charts on the form. And if you want to make it, if you can make this, of course, this is a long one, like a very long document that people can read. You can make this multi-page too if you want, but at the end, you can ask a couple of quick questions, get signatures. It could be multiple signatures on the same form as well. And then when there is a submission, again, it will create a research consent to be a research subject record for you. Or other than those, this I already showed this to you, or case. Again, for service, this is so simple normally, but there are really nice use cases for this one. And I can maybe show you, I think I opened it here. Yeah, for example, for your internal people, if you're working with contacts or leads or many other cases, they can just come here. Let me find one of them. Okay, yes, so I have Tom Cruise here. For example, you can embed the forms on your Lightning record pages directly as well. This is the case form that I created that I just showed you. So imagine an internal service person, one of the employees, they're working on this and they want to create a case. They can just come here, they can select the options, and then they can just find the person here. They can attach a file, especially for cases, files are really important. So this is just completed. There are two attachments. If you just refresh the page, it will add a third one. Oh, not the attachment, sorry, cases. There was 4 cases and then it's right now 5 cases. It added a new case here. And then you'll be able to see the attachments here too as an image. This is another example. And this one, for example, this is the account update form. Oh, I can go to this one really quickly. This is going to be the last one. Sorry, I talked a lot. But for example, if you want to use the dynamic pre-fill feature with dynamic forms, This is an example, a nice example for that one. This company, what they do is they send an update information form every year to their customers. And then, but since there is again information about their customers, some sensitive information there might be, they're setting email as their passwords. In this case, for example, you can make it anything. And when they enter the password, it will be pre-filled for the customers already without them having access directly to your org. They can see the information here. And if there's any change on their phone number, their address, or anything else, you can also collect signature from them showing that, okay, this date, this time they did the submission, so they made the changes. You'll be able to track all of those things. This is, again, a very nice use case too. Again, there are many other things, but I just wanted to show you in this limited time these use cases and how the form and survey builder works. If you have any questions, or if was there anything in the chat I haven't seen, but please let me know.
Yeah.
Hakan, this was amazing.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you so much.
Hakan, I do have a question for you. As a person who wants to partner with you and make sure that we're sending anyone your way that might fit your potential client, who should we be looking for? If we hear something, like what should we be listening to? And then if we hear it, say, oh, we should just immediately think of Hakan.
That is a great question. Yeah, I don't know. I know, but it's more, of course, when you talk to form builders, different solutions, we all do the same things, right? Very similar. Of course, there are some changes, but the main thing for me is, again, it being 100% native. As you see, again, the feel and look and how it works, how we store the data, it's 100% native working in your org. That is the first thing, of course. But after that, the user experience part is really important. But more than those two, for me specifically, I can say is because that's what I have experienced myself, and I'm sure you in different ways too in your careers. You're talking to a company, getting a new solution, you need a tool, you start using it. But after that, when you have a problem, you cannot reach out to them, or it takes time, or it's not easy. I want it to be as easy as possible, actually, for people to be able to reach out to me or my team. And when there is an issue or they need somehow some kind of support, I want to really mention that part. That is really big. That's really important to me. I don't know, maybe my background being in teaching, working with students, trying to have that individual attention to them. It's similar to me in business too. So I want to do that really personally and pushing my people into our company as well for that. So that's kind of part of our culture. I really want to I want people to know that we will be there when you need us. If you have any questions, we try to make everything really quick, easy for them to be able to, again, solve their issues if they have anything. I think that's a big thing.
Thank you so much.
Sure, of course. Thanks for the question.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was great. If you guys have been keeping up with the chat, you will see that I said, if you want to speak yourself or if you know somebody you'd like me to go chase, let me know. One of the things that I have as a group leader is the ability to query out to Salesforce. So if there's something that you would like to see, shoot me or Sophie an email and we will make it happen for you. Unfortunately, one of the things that we do not receive as virtual group leaders is swag, but I think Andrew, since we have some Life Sciences Dreamin' events coming up, I think you've got some Life Sciences Dreamin'.
Yeah, I do have some Life Sciences Dreamin' swag. So luckily for everybody here, we do have a swag giveaway, which is great. So I do have everyone's names who have stayed to the end inputted in my clicker, and I will go ahead and spin the wheel. And it's good. Okay. All right. So our winner today is Brian. So Brian, please send Sophie your personal information, and she will not come to your house, but she will send you a really cool swag bag. Thank you to Life Sciences Dreamin' for the swag. And Brian, I don't know what's all in the bag because there's a bunch of stuff in there, but I think
Awesome.
some goodies you'll enjoy. So thanks for staying to the end.
No, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, looking forward to connect with you, Sophie. And yeah, for those that are heading out to Dreamforce next month, myself and a colleague will be there. So I hope to be able to see some folks in person.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.
Amazing. If anybody else is going to Dreamforce, reach out to Brian and let him know so that you can cross paths, probably out of breath and with burning feet, because that's what Dreamforce does to you. Hakan, thank you so much for your presentation today. It was great. It was amazing to see. It's always cool to see how people are stretching the boundaries of what's capable in Salesforce. So thanks everybody for joining us. We have a couple of other events coming up soon. There's a casual coffee chat where everybody that joins, I'm just going to create some affinity rooms. So if you're in diagnostics, genomics, R&D, CRO, whatever you're in, we'll be able to join together. That one will be super casual networking, and we've got a couple of other things coming up soon. So watch this space. Thanks everybody for joining us and have a wonderful
And if
weekend.
you do want to come to the Life Sciences Dreamin' Roadshow to meet up with the virtual group in person, it is in Philly, the first one. The other one's in Orlando. So if you want, we do have codes available for people who are in this group. So please reach out to me if you're close to Philly.
And if you have any questions, I didn't mention it, sorry, but you can reach out to me using my email, hakan@breezybit.com, or especially I'm trying to be active on LinkedIn. Feel free to shoot me a message, a connection request. I'm available. Feel free to do that. Again, thank you for your time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your attention and questions.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks, Shannon.
Bye.